Hey everyone, Jack here, TalkNorwichCity. Welcome back to another video. The January transfer window, incredibly, is very close to closing, and it's been really, really quiet. Not just for Norwich City, but clubs in general. I think the recent kind of financial implications of particularly a couple of Premier League sides have kind of scared off the big spending that we often see at the top level of football, and that's almost trickled down. And look, I wasn't expecting a really busy window for Norwich City. I expected slightly more action than we've seen so far, but it doesn't come as a huge shock. I think a lot of people are kind of gripping on to the comments made from David Wagner at the start of the window, saying that Ben Napper had kind of laid out these exciting transfer plans, and that hasn't come to fruition as of yet. There has been movement, though, in the last couple of days, and most of that surrounds Idah. Idah is being linked with a move to Serie A, to Verona. It looks to be a loan deal with an option to buy at the end of it. Now, Verona offered €3.5 million with a loan this season, €3.5 million to buy him come the end of that loan deal. And that has been turned down by Norwich City. That's been the story told by Paddy Davitt of the Pink 'Un, who's often very much on the money with this kind of stuff. And I must admit, when I first saw that Verona were in for Idah, I thought, brilliant opportunity, top flight football in Italy. It's a cracking opportunity. Granted, they are down in the bottom of the table, but such a good experience to move abroad and kind of ply your trade there. I thought, okay, loan deal like that makes sense. We've been, saying that Idah needs a loan deal for quite some time now. And then I saw the fee associated with the buyout clause, and I just thought it felt really low. And I think a lot of people will disagree with me here. This is the reason why I think €3.5 million, so let's call it £3 million, feels really low. He's 22 years old. He's got 4 years left on his contract. He's already played 115 times for Norwich City in between the top flight and the second flight in England. And actually, if you look at his goal-scoring record this season, 7 goals in 34 games, and the majority of those 34 games off the bench, that's actually pretty decent. That's a pretty decent rate to be going at. A lot of his opportunity at this football club has come off the bench. I think we've mismanaged him to an extent. He had that breakout season in kind of 2019 where scored that hat-trick against Preston in the FA Cup. He was still a very young lad then. And I think since that point, we've maybe halted his development ever so slightly. It's always felt like we've wanted to keep Idah in the setup and haven't wanted him to go out on loan in case we've had injuries to those in front of him. And that has happened in each season. But as soon as that first choice striker is back, Idah's kind of dropped to number 3 in the ranks again. And it's happened this season. He's been behind Sargent and Barnes. He had that kind of period where he was playing regularly when Barnes was injured, Sargent was injured, Hwang wasn't fit. He had that 10-game spell, did okay in them, didn't sort of tear up any trees, did okay. And since the return of Sargent and Barnes, he's been dropped back in. Now, I'm certainly not adverse to letting him go. Norwich City are open to letting him go. I think Idah is keen to move away. So this all now comes down to the financials. And I'm just looking at this and going, it does. It's a comparison that's kind of void because it's our stupidity that meant we spent this money. But we spent £3 million on Premiswap Heta. Ipswich Town have just spent £2 million on a League Two striker. Idah has played at the top level of English football in the Premier League, and we want and Verona want to pay £3 million. I'd be looking at least double, and I think Norwich City will try and hold out. There's no rush to sell him. He's on a decent contract. If the deal doesn't happen in January, then I suspect there'll be offers coming for him in the summer. Norwich need to have a backbone here and stand strong and demand a figure that we deserve for Idah. I think we deserve far more than £3 million. Could you honestly see? And I think this is the way you need to look at it. Could you see Norwich finding a replacement for Idah, who's equally as young, who's equally as exciting, for £3 million? No, it just doesn't happen. £3 million gets you nothing in football nowadays. This is a man worth more money. I think for Idah's development, and I think for Norwich City's development, Idah's future probably does lie away from Norwich. I'm not denying that. I think he's been good, as I say, in the parts that we've seen him this season. But as well as the financials, it also relies on Norwich finding a replacement. If we were to sell Idah and let him go on loan and then sell him come the end of the summer, we are going to be going into the second half of a very frantic campaign with 2 strikers. One of those strikers being Ashley Barnes, who is hardly in his peak physical point in his life, and Josh Sargent, who although has looked brilliant since his return from injury, is still nursing somewhat of a return. You know, we've seen he's been rested from the FA Cup games. He's been pulled off after 60, 70 minutes in the majority of league action. He's still not fully fit. You need a replacement. I think Norwich City realise that. So if there's a couple of things that need to happen in the next 24 hours, essentially, for this to happen, I would love to see Idah go out and smash it in Italy. I would be overjoyed. I think he's clearly a very nice lad. Physically, he's got it all. He's quick, he's strong, he's tall. He is the perfect kind of textbook striker in terms of the way that you want them built. But he needs irregular game time. I think he probably needs a change of scenery. And Norwich could do with the cash as well. We just need more than £3.5 million. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I'd be really interested to hear, because I think a lot of people will disagree and a lot of people say just get rid of him. You know, sell him for what you can and try and reinvest the cash. One, I don't really trust the board to reinvest it wisely, so we need a bit of money to waste. And 2, I think he's a good player. I think there is something in Idah, and I think he's worth more than what's being offered. So let me know. Really keen to hear. Thanks very much for watching. There'll be videos on deadline day. There's a couple of other rumours that are surfacing at the moment, so maybe something might happen in the next day and a half. I'm really interested to see how it all pans out. Thanks very much for watching. See you, everyone. Bye-bye.